Hey, this is the Mid-Atlantic Moneymaker, Ronnie Daval Jr., and you're listening to the Three Count Podcast.
I'm in fashion, roll with cold passion.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the Three Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you out that mountain called wrestling. And by now, after our 200 and something episode, y'all just should be saying it with me, right? I am your Sherpa, because like your tribal chief, acknowledge me. But more importantly, just like every good Sherpa, you gotta have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. That's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering the ring today? He's a manager. He's a worker. He is also debuted in Maryland, being told hey, sometimes you may have to slow your roll down. But you can find this man, more importantly, at Classic Pro Wrestling. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Ronnie Daval Jr.
Brother, thank you for having me. That intro was just great.
Bet, man. I appreciate it. Yo, I'm hyped though, man, because we've been kind of trading communications back and forth. Just trying to get stuff figured out. But I'm super hyped to have you on the show because, one place that I do want to be at someday, hopefully here in the future, is Virginia, and to be able to work, because I know like the crowds there are very different than a lot of the other areas that be around. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Virginia's a little wild. I tried to have you once, but weather didn't want to do what it was supposed to do. So, things happened, and I had to make that decision to cancel the show, and that sucked. But I had to do what was best for everybody. So.
Yeah, it is wild too, because weather, I don't think a lot of people realize how much weather really influences how a show goes, right? Especially if you have a vinyl tarp.
Right.
It is one of I love certain places, but vinyl is not something to be wrestling on.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Or the ropes get really wet whenever there's dew, or even just any kind of moisture on there, and any kind of athletic rope move that you thought you could hit, you're not hitting that.
Oh no, let me tell you, I went to a show in 2013 in Virginia, and the Barbarian was wrestling. Now, it's outside, it's at a fair, pouring down raining. The Barbarian's literally slipping and sliding during the match because it's pouring down raining, and they decided to keep the show going. So I'm not going to risk any of my guys getting hurt. And unfortunately, at the time, we were only running outside, events. So I'm not going to take that risk.
No, and that's very much appreciated, because then what you end up doing is you build up more camaraderie with the talent and stuff when they get hyped. And then when you come back and run, they're really just ready to kill it for you twice as hard before. Because I love it though, and it is cool. And I always remember Sicken was like, "Bro, I think this show's gonna get canceled," and I was like, "Nah." And then not even an hour later, the message came out, and Nick was like, "Told you." I was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, I called him a couple days before, and I was like, "So, hey, brother, what time do you plan on leaving on Sunday?" He's like 8 or 9 a.m. I'm like, okay, then I have to make a decision really early, because I don't want you to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and then get down here and show starts at 3. I have to cancel the show at 12 p.m. You're already on the road. I'm not. And then that same show, I had a guy driving from Tennessee. So that's 13 hours for him. So I was like, if this guy gets down here, drives 13 hours, he doesn't, get to work, he's probably going to beat me up. So let's not do that.
No, you're definitely 100% on that. It's one of those things where it's you don't want to make the wrong decision, so you have to kind of caution on the side of, you have to err on the side of caution, and then, because I think it was a Saturday that you had canceled up that show, and it was dang.
I got a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of backlash about it. I was told by a lot of people that in my circle that I trust that I should have waited until Sunday morning. And I understand what they're saying. The weather could change, but like I said, I had people driving from different states. It's not like like me. The venue from my house is literally 10 minutes. So It's not me driving 10 minutes. It's guys driving 13 hours. They're driving 3 hours. So it is what it is. I'm not going to please everybody. That's part of this whole business. So.
Yeah, it is one thing is that you're always dealing with like a lot of different personalities, especially like coming from all over, and then just even within the state too, because we have some of those guys that'll be like, "Hey, yo, thanks, great looking out for the talent." And then you have other people who are just like, "Nah, you should just ran." And it's one of those things where if you try to please everybody, you can't please anybody. So, kind of just have to take some shots on the chin and just kind of keep it moving.
Yep, keep on going.
But more importantly, we were just talking about it off air, and then we'll bring it on air too. You recently just got kicked in the face by Moose.
Yeah. That was a fun experience. I thought Moose was a nice guy. At first, we had lunch together. It was great. And then he kicked me in the face. So, but no, C3W called me up and allowed me to make my manager debut there with a good buddy of mine, Ivan Ali, on his birthday of all days. So he got to be in the main event against Moose. Ivan Ali is the C3W Super Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, I think I got that right. Yeah, C3W Super Heavyweight Champion. So, I got to hang out with my buddy and help celebrate his birthday and help him get a victory over Moose. And then I got kicked in the face. So, it all worked out.
It all worked out. See, he got an awesome birthday present and retained his title. You got kicked in the face, but y'all came out happy.
we did. Came out happy and victorious, and that's all that matters.
So, as a promoter, like, what are like one of the things that you're looking for as far as talent goes? Like, what's that thing that you're looking for?
So, a lot of different things. Now we're in the age of everybody's doing the flip flop, the high spots. I'm okay with some of that. I try to keep it more wrestling, more professional wrestling, storytelling. Look like a wrestler. Don't look like a backyarder. I hate to say it like that because a couple of my friends are backyarders and they're probably going to get offended by this. But at the same time, Triple H is not going to sit there and go to somebody's backyard and look at somebody, but he'll come to an actual wrestling show, and look at somebody. Professionalism. If I book you, I would hope that you would show up on the time that I asked you to show up, or at least say, hey, I can't make it at this time. This is the time I can make it. I did have a guy, I'm not going to say his name. I did have a guy that I booked him, and our show started at 4:00. He showed up at 3:55. Call time was 1:00 in the same state, literally in the same state. So, Lisa say he'll never be booked again for me. But I just show up on time, and if I put you, because I do all the graphics, I do social media, everything for CPW. That's all me. So if I have the respect to put you on the poster or to just put you out there as one of my main guys, the least you can do is share the flyer, 30-second promo, something. I have guys that I literally will put on the flyer, nothing. They'll come, they'll get that envelope, and that's it, and some guys are, I don't know, all about their ego. So, but I try to keep it, I want them to look like a wrestler, and I want them to be able to tell a story, because if I want somebody to be able to come to one of our shows and say, hey, if they see our world champion in the bar, oh, that guy's going to kick their butt, I don't want somebody that's going to look like he's 100 pounds and, so.
No, I understand that. I think one thing that I love, though, is this. I love when wrestlers and it's something I take value. I take pride in this as well. It's you create a world, and then you have your character, and then you can tell that story with another character, and you maybe never met before, right? I know I recently I did a promo with Invictus Pro Wrestling up in New Jersey, and I knew Diego. I never actually met him, but I was able to kind of spin this story and then build this whole world. And then like the funny part was is he ended up building his world, and we were able to like just mesh them together really, really well. And it's a lot of fun when you get to like cut promos. So I guess when I'm looking at people who don't want to do promos, I'm like, why? That's like the best part. Well, next to wrestling, that's the best part, is that you're in control of this whole entire character that you made, and you get to tell this fun story behind the scenes or whatever you want to do with it. Like,
Exactly. I don't understand it. I really don't. It's literally 30 seconds to a minute. I don't ask a lot. I'm not asking you to cut a 5-minute promo. I literally ask you for no more than a minute, because I know from experience, if I'm watching a promo, I don't want to listen to somebody blab for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, So I literally ask for a minute and 30 at the most. And that's it, and if you can't do that, then why am I booking you?
right.
So
I love it. I love it. Like, you've got to be able to do, like, and I agree. 90 seconds is probably the max that you should do.
Yeah.
But if you can't get your, like, why you are going to beat this person up in 30 seconds or in a minute, maybe
you don't just don't be talking at all.
Yeah. And it's weird too, because like the world of wrestling is based on storytelling. So why would you not want to get your character like the biggest platform that you can build? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. Some guys are weird. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Some guys are weird.
I think the other thing that you talked about too, right? And it was something I've talked about a few times actually on a couple of past episodes. Not that I'm trying to generate heat with any of my friends who can do these kind of things, but it's like, I can do some of the high flying stuff too, but I prefer not to. And the reason why is because I feel like you could, like, I guess when I mentioned it, and I know a lot of people kind of took flack for it, or I took flack for it, but like, I thought the 450 stopped being cool when I was able to hit it, right? And I'm talking about, and here's my age, 37-year-old man doing a 450 splash off the top rope. And I was like, it's not really cool anymore to me because I'm able to hit it. Not that I would disrespect anybody else who can do it, but it's
Right.
like, at this point, like, all right, it's off my bucket list. It's not something that I'm like trying to hit like every day, or it's not something I'm trying to hit. But if I'm an old man trying to do it and able to do it, then why do I need to, why do I think that move is cool? It's like, so I like to look at other stuff, and I'm like, all right, let me do some more ground-based stuff, because I think tactically telling a story of like taking apart a body part, or like injuring someone's back, or taking out like an arm, I think that tells like just as fun of a story as someone who's trying to hit a 450 splash off the top rope.
Right. I mean, and see, I'm not against booking like high flyers, not at all, because I have a cruiserweight division. I do. But my main focus is professional wrestling, old school professional wrestling, hence the classic pro. I'm trying to take it back to that old school day, and it's a work in progress. It really is. I got a couple guys that I know for a fact can do it, but it's just, getting all the ingredients and making sure everything comes out picture perfect.
Yeah, I like it though, and I do love like high flying. I do like seeing big spots. I'm not gonna front, like I'm one of those dudes. I mark out when I see someone hit, I don't know, a Canadian destroyer as they're jumping out of the ring while another person's held up on the edge. I'm like,
Right.
I pop for that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, too, I'm like, I also pop for when I see someone like Brian Danielson like working a wrist lock on the ground, and someone like Daniel Garcia is trying to fight out of it. Like,
Right.
I love both sides of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's cool. But like I said, once like I was like, oh, I can do that move. I'm like, all right, check it off the bucket list, because that's not something I'm gonna hit.
Yeah.
But what brought you into the sport though?
Oh gosh. Well, so I mean, I watched it growing up, and I always loved it. The Rock, Stone Cold, all those guys, Triple H, and sadly John Cena. But so originally I was in high school. I did yearbook, I did newspaper, all that stuff, and Big Time Wrestling, which I know does a lot of stuff with ACW and Nick. They came to my hometown of Prince George, and they brought in Ric Flair. And so I was like, oh, this is cool because I've never seen Ric Flair in person. I mean, I've seen him at WWE shows, but I've never actually seen him in person. I was like, oh, well, I'm doing, yearbook. So let me see if I can, try to figure out how to work a camera and, do some ringside photography. And that worked out. And then the promotion that I started going to when I was 10 in 2007 was called Ground Zero. And that was based out of Richmond, Virginia. And they ran from 2006 to 2017. And then they shut down. But I called up the owner, Dave McLeod, and I was like, hey, Dave, I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for anything. I said, I just want to do, ringside photography and, just get some experience and see what happens. And so I started taking pictures, and they actually turned out better than I thought. And then, of course, they shut down, and I had to find somewhere else to go.
But that's kind of cool way to get in, because like you said, like you weren't really looking for anything. You were just looking for like that one opportunity just to get some experience and stuff, and to be able to like slide in, take photos, and just kind of see what you like and what you don't like, and then just kind of build a company up based off of that. That is still really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean it all worked out. It really got me a lot of different roles. I did do ringside photography, and then I ended up taking over their social media pages. Because I also did social media for our yearbook and our newspaper. And then I became a backstage interviewer. They gave me a gimmick name, which was the worst gimmick name ever. Blake Blackstone.
Blake Blackstone.
Yeah,
I like it though.
Looking back, now it's horrible. But at first I was like, oh, this is cool. I got a gimmick name. No, it's crap. So no. But it was fun. It allowed me to do a lot of different things that I honestly never thought I would do, because I never really thought about joining the business. I thought about, okay, just sitting at home watching it on TV and, see whatever happens.
No, that's cool though. And as much as it's like you're trying to say like it's like a bad name, yeah, but it still works because it's in the wrestling business. And let's be real, like all sorts of names get thrown out there, and we just look at people like, why?
Yeah, I don't understand. I really don't. And I'll still have guys like they'll come to the shows and they'll still literally call me that, and I'm like, do not call me that. Do not. And some of these are fans, and I'm like, don't call me that.
Don't do
Because
that.
I'll literally give you your money back and tell you to get on your way. I hate the name now. Back then it was great, and back then I bragged about it, all that stuff. But I was also like 16, 17 years old at the time, and like, okay, cool. Now I'm 25, and I'm like, no, I like my own name.
I like my name.
Nobody else has that name. Well, other than my dad, nobody else has that name. So, no.
Well, that's like when I was going through and I was like trying to figure out like what my ring name was going to be. I guess for me, it's funny because like it was never going to drift off of like where I've come from. So I was like, with my first name being Clifford, I was like, yo, everybody knew me as the Big Red Dog. So I was like, yo, we're just going to keep Red Dog, and we're just going to run it as far as we can.
As well. It works.
Right. I was like, yo, everywhere from like elementary to junior high, high school, college, the military, like, getting out, I was just like, this is my name. I'm just going to run with it. And it's kind of like I guess for me, it's more like a big F you to all the kids that used to bully me like back in school. But I was like, no, it's my name now. And now everybody has to acknowledge it and call me by it.
There you go. Red Dog.
But so seeing that you've been in the ring, you took in a boot from Moose, I'm just wondering, have you ever taken like any bad bumps? And if so, what was the worst bump you've taken?
So not in the ring. So I've took, my bump card is very limited. I'll put it to you like that. I've took a power slam. Actually, I've took 2 or 3 power slams from Triple Fear's Kevin Mears, and of course the big boot by Moose. But there was a match at one of our shows this past year where one of the guys, he was just, I don't know, he was knocked unconscious or whatever. So I was literally, it used to be my old tag team partner, Lil Lovin, and I was literally dragging him back. And this guy, he weighs more than I do. I don't know his actual weight, but he's a bigger guy. So I'm literally dragging him back. And as I drag him back, I was like, oh, it's, let's make it a comedy spot. Let's, give something people to laugh at. I'll fall and you'll fall on top of me. Well, I fell on my butt. Yeah. And it hurt on the ground, by the way, on the ground, the wet ground, solid wet ground. I had a bruise on the side of my lower back, and it was there for like a week just because I decided to try to be funny, and yeah, it got me a big old bruise on my side. So
Did the crowd at least pop for it?
Yeah, they laughed, but I was like, it better be worth it, and it was. I mean, they enjoyed it. I mean, I've always been a heel. I've never been a babyface, like ever, and I don't even know if I could be a babyface, because I think I tried once, and they just hate me, like literally just hate me. I did have speaking of that, so C3W this past weekend, I had an 8-year-old boy dressed as Darby Allin. Now, Moose went to do a shoulder tackle, and I tripped him. Well, I attempted to trip him. 8-year-old boy behind me is like, oh, you tripped him, you cheater, you white cracker. I'm like, whoa, brother. I was like, whoa, brother. Okay. 8 years old. I'm like, oh, great. I must have did my job right then.
It was so funny. So we were at C3W, and I say we as in me and Chaz, Chaz and myself. So we're at the show, and we're working each other. And Chaz is the other half of this. He's one third of pure ignorance. Mm-hmm. And I came out first, and I gave fives to everybody in the crowd, right? And we were just kind of like, hey, we don't really know who's playing heel. We don't know who's playing face. We're just gonna kind of go out there and just kind of wing it, and then whatever happens, what just happens. Right. So Chaz came out. He did his thing. He had his the guy who made his track actually performed it live for him.
Oh, okay.
So he got his rapper in there, his MC's going off, and as the match is going on, I reach out and I see this little girl, right? And I reach out and I'm like, yo, tag me in. I was like, he's trying to choke me on the rope. And so she's reaching out, and it was funny because at the end of the match, we had walked off, obviously the match is over. Chaz is walking down to go get a slushie or something like that. And that little girl walked up on him and was like, hey, I didn't appreciate the fact you were choking my friend on that rope. She's like, when I get older, I'm going to take lessons. I'm going to beat your butt. And I was like, yo.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
And the best part was I was the heel.
Oh my gosh, that's even better.
Yeah. So I was like, I got over as a heel with a 6-year-old. I was like, let's get it.
There you go.
Yeah. So being that you've been in, and actually you said it perfectly, right? You've been a heel most of your career. Who are your 5 inspirational characters that made your character?
Ted DiBiase being one. Obviously because of the whole money thing. Now, oh gosh, put me on the spot with this one. Tully Blanchard, actually. Tully Blanchard is actually a good friend of mine. I try to talk to him at least once a month. So Tully, $1 Million Man. Oh, The Miz. Everybody hates The Miz. Let me get on Miz level. I'm good to go. Everybody hates The Miz. Everybody hates me. Let's see who else. That's a tough one. I guess Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's definitely a good one. Paul Heyman and probably Bobby Heenan.
I mean, those are all great choices.
Those 5 mixed up into one.
I think the one thing too, Paul Heyman, it's wild because Paul Heyman is he's his promo game has aged like fine wine. Like
Yes.
whether you want him to cheer you, you want people to get over, or you want people to hate that person, like he can do it in one promo, get everybody over, and then just get everybody to hate him or get him to hate like whoever he's representing, whether it's the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, or the Tribal Chief. But he's so good at it. Like it was just for letting everybody know, right? So this would have been the SmackDown before Halloween. Like he got Jake Paul over, and then like Roman just came in and just killed this promo. I was like, I hate the fact that both these two are right here, like just doing great work. And I'm like, Paul's promos are just getting better every single time I see him. I'm like, man, even from his time in ECW, I was like, you can't knock it.
No, the man has gotten so much better, and that man is he can work some magic with a mic.
Yeah, true artist painting, like just all over the place. It's crazy, and he puts you on like the greatest roller coaster ride, only to come at halting and crashing down. Like
yeah.
I love, because like one of my favorite promos from him was CM Punk, right? And not even when CM Punk left, and he was in Chicago. And he was telling this story about like the incredible odds of what it is to be a champion. And he's like, and then our champion, the voice of the voiceless, is not here. And the crowd just booed the shit out of him. I was like, yo, that's so crazy. Yeah. But yeah, he's a master on the mic. And I love listening to Tully too. Like even now, Tully's promos when he was with like FTR and when he's talking to Sean Spears, like those were fun. But all of Tully's older work is like obviously chef's kiss.
Yes, loves me some Tully.
So let's get into this. A few years in the business, like you've mentioned. So I need to know, what's one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn?
Sometimes it's best to let bygones be bygones. It's no secret. A couple years ago, 2018, so after Ground Zero closed down, I went to another promotion that was owned and operated by one of your former guests, Lord Everett DeVore. And things just didn't end up on the best of terms at the end of that. So just let bygones be bygones and let it go. I mean, I'm 25 years old now, and maybe 3 years ago I would have literally talked the same crap I was talking about, how things went down. But I've tried to grow and mature a little bit. So just let bygones be bygones, and let them continue to talk, and if they continue to talk, that's on them. You got to be the bigger person at the end of the day. So
it is one of those things where it's like, as you like get older, you're always looking for like those, like one thing like I always did when I was like, I want to say when I was younger, but when I was like in the military and I was like trying to figure shit out. One thing like I used to do, and not that this is a Christian show, right? But I used to always pray for patience. There we go. And eventually, like I remember like hearing it one day from a friend of mine who was just like, dude, you don't pray for it. You pray for the opportunities for it, because that's what will help you grow. And it was one of those things where like finally I started asking for the opportunities, and boy, did I get them. And I had to like practice and just realize like, hey man, like some shit you're just not gonna be able to change, and some shit you're just not gonna have any control over. And eventually, like if you keep letting it fester at you, it's just gonna eat you up, and you're just not gonna ever be happy. So it's cool that you said like, right, like you're just gotta let bygones be bygones and just try to move on and keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it's a lesson that you're gonna learn, not only just in wrestling but in life. I mean, people are going to talk. They're going to say what they want to say. There's going to be people. I mean, there was people before him, and there's people after him that continue to talk. So it is what it is. You got to move on and keep doing your thing. And at the end of the day, if they're talking, that they're talking for a reason. And if they're talking about you, it's because you obviously are doing something right that they're not doing. So.
I like it. So then I guess another question I'd love to ask is, what kind of advice would you have for up and coming wrestlers?
Oh gosh. Well, first off, don't do any backyard BS. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm like I said, I'm gonna offend a couple people because they're my friends. But now that I've really took over the whole booking and the storytelling and all that stuff, yeah, you might be my friend, but if you're coming to my show dressed in a pair of jeans, well, I'm sorry, if your wrestling gear is a pair of jeans that look like you got them from Hot Topic and a Walmart tank top, brother, I'm not booking you. Sorry, like I'm not. Love you to death. You know, we might have rode the roads together for years, but I'm not booking you. Look like a wrestler. Get trained like a wrestler. Get trained by somebody that's legitimate. I'm not going to sit there and say that I had like 100% wrestling training. No, I didn't. I had the training that I was needed to do. And you know, that's it. I did more business training than more physical training, because I wasn't trying to be a wrestler. I honestly wasn't even trying to be a manager. I was kind of just thrown in that spot because somebody missed the show. Yeah, somebody missed the show. Thank you, Phil Stamper. So I love Phil. Phil loves me sometimes, I think.
You gotta be careful about the president of wrestling because he will get you axed.
President of wrestling. Funny story. And I might have it. I don't know where it's. Oh, there it is. We're gonna see how good my camera is. So Phil was our commissioner at the time, and I was his deputy. And so he couldn't make it to one show, so I took over. And he came back, and it was chaos. Oh hell, I done strip championships, and I got new people that don't, never seen before. So my punishment was I had to wear a maid's outfit. So here's me wearing a maid's outfit. Oh, and by the way, our sponsor was Burger King. So yes, that is a Burger King crown on my head, and I am sweeping the ring during intermission.
Nice.
So Phil Stamper, you can never mind. We'll talk soon. But yeah, I didn't really have the physical training. I had more of a business training, and then when I was needed for that manager roles, okay, yes, I did. This is what I need to do. So this is take the bump, da 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 da. So
nice. So bigger lesson learned: always say yes. Don't say no. Just
bro, I was so nervous when they said, "Oh, Phil's not here, so you're gonna do this, this, and this," and I'm like, "Bro, I've never spoken in front of a crowd before, and you're gonna sit there and tell me that not only do I have one spot, but I have 3 spots. One of those being the main event. On my first night, you're telling me I have to do this? Yeah, okay. I guess we're doing it." And that's how it started, and I'm hopefully still going.
Well, it's funny because I know, like, for me, I had worked in a 6-man match at another company, right? And I was sitting there listening, right? And everybody's talking about it, like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and you're gonna do this, this, and this, and you're gonna do this, this, and this, and then we're gonna try to get this, this, and this accomplished." And they're like, "What do you do? What are you gonna hit?" And I was like, "Listen, I'm just I'm the greenest guy here, so I'm just kind of listening and just kind of like, whatever you guys want me to do, I'll do." And one of the other veterans goes, "No, we have seen you work numerous times in numerous places, and you're not the greenest guy here, so you're going to do some stuff that you want to hit." He's like, "So what do you want to hit?" And I was like, "Bet, I got you." Like, we're gonna put some responsibility on you. And I was like, "Bet." But I was like, that's not what I expected at all in this conversation.
No, when I showed up to the show that I expected, because when I literally tell you I did everything, I was literally running sound at the same time while I'm sitting there trying to play commissioner at the same time. So I'm literally hitting the stop button to run down to the ring, which is a good 20 to 25 feet away from me, to make this announcement, and then run back and play the music for the second person. It's like, oh, great. But I mean, I loved it. I was a little, like I said, I was a little nervous because I've never spoken in front of more than 40, 50 people. And the firehouse that we were in at the time would hold 200 to 300 people.
Wow.
So yeah. Little Ronnie was a little nervous.
So, seeing that you've run your own locker room as well as kind of been around a bunch of different locker rooms, I need one do and one don't of the locker room.
Of the locker room itself?
Yeah.
One don't, and I've noticed this in every single locker room that I've been in, whether it be Classic Pro or every other promotion I worked for. Don't leave your trash everywhere. Do not leave your trash everywhere because one, these buildings, they're not cheap. They're really not. And if the owner of the building is going to say, hey, if somebody's going to keep leaving their trash and you're not going to be able to come back, brother, if you cost me a building because of one water bottle, well, you're losing a booking. Like, and then dues, try to be professional, try to be respectful, try to shake everybody's hand when you show up, try to at least check in, do the sign in crap for the DPOR. Nobody likes doing that, but it has to be done. So, that's it. Just be professional, be respectful. I mean, you might not like each other at the end of the day, but shake hands because I don't have, in my locker room, and I tell this to multiple guys, I don't have time for high school drama. If I wanted high school drama, I'd go down to the local high school and sit there and watch some theater class. Like, it's not for me,
I like it. That's all great advice too, just like in life in general. So I like it. Hey, so listen, those are all my heavy hitting questions, but we do got to get into the best segment of the 3 Count podcast. And it used to be the Red Dogs Power Rankings, but I don't want to acknowledge that it's retired, and I won't acknowledge that's retired yet. So we're gonna get into the 3 Count podcast 10 count questions. Mr. DeVault, this is how it works. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. Whatever your answer is, that's your answer.
Okay.
So we're going to put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown, Tribal Chief.
Favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon? SpongeBob.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Favorite movie?
Ooh. Get Out.
I like it. Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Favorite actor?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The Avengers or X-Men?
The Avengers.
Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast? 3 Count.
Right? It's not like we don't have this thing marketed everywhere. Nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
One person. Ethan Cross.
Yes. And last but not least, my favorite curse word to ask every single person who comes on the show. Favorite curse word?
Well, does damn count? I mean, Ron Simmons says it all the time. So
Ron says it all the time. Damn is an appropriate word to put anywhere.
Here we go.
But well, those are all my questions. So the last thing I need from you is to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
December 10th, I'll be in Hampton, Virginia for Next Up Pro Wrestling. Classic Pro Wrestling is working on a couple shows, hopefully soon. And C3W, I think I'll be allowed there, after I get my jaw checked out, thanks to Moose. But social media on Facebook, Ronnie Daval Jr., Instagram, The $1 Million Mac Daddy, and Twitter at Mid-Atlantic Moneymaker.
Bet. There you go. He gave you all his handles. He's answered all these questions.
No,
so
only
you know what that means?
No
Say
only.
it.
I said no OnlyFans.
No OnlyFans yet. No OnlyFans yet. Don't say no.
I mean, if the money's right, the money's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I tell people all the time, I was like, listen, here are my values. For the right price, these are my new values.
Exactly.
I don't hide it anyway. But like every great part of a wrestling match, we got to take this home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. But like every good Sherpa, which I would like to think I am, it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. You see him right there. It is Ronnie Daval Jr., and you guys know what to do. Tune in to the next episode and be there or you're legitimately following us on all of our social media platforms. You're even subscribed to our YouTube channel. You're even following us on Spotify. You're giving us those 5-star frog / reviews on Apple Podcasts. You're buying our merch right here. Okay. It's just completely simple. ProWrestlingTees.com / the 3 Count Podcast. You're telling all of your friends about us. You're sharing us out. You're even like leaving comments on all of our videos, as fly as they are. You're doing all that stuff, or you're really just kind of waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for the outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want you to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3 Count _ pod. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count pod. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give us a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm / the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. Oh! At ProWrestlingTees.com / the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So, show us some support, please.